A hyperbola's vertical asymptote is wherever the denominator hits 0, because that is the one x the function cannot have. The denominator is x plus p, and x plus p is 0 when x is minus p. The sketch tells you that happens at minus 2, so minus p is minus 2, and p is plus 2. Watch that sign. The bracket is x plus p, so p comes out as the opposite of the asymptote, and half the marks lost on this part are lost right there. And q is easier. Q is the horizontal asymptote itself. No sign flip, so q is minus 1. Now, the thing the guideline is strict about. It was asked for the values of p and q, so the answer is p equals 2 and q equals minus 1. If you write x equals minus 2 and y equals minus 1, you have described the asymptotes rather than answered the question, and the guideline says in as many words not to accept it. 2 marks, and they are for 2 numbers. You are given a point on the curve, and a point on a curve is always an equation waiting to be written down. Put x as minus 4 and y as minus 5 halves. P and q you already have from the part before, so the only unknown left in the whole expression is a. Minus 5 halves equals over minus 4 plus 2, minus 1. Tidy both sides. Underneath, minus 4 plus 2 is minus 2. On the left, add 1 to minus 5 halves. That is minus 5 halves plus 2 halves minus 3 halves. So minus 3 halves equals over minus 2. Multiply both sides by minus 2. Minus 3 halves times minus 2 is plus 3, so a is 3. And check it, because it takes one line. 3 over minus 4 plus 2 is 3 over minus 2, minus 3 halves. Take away 1, minus 5 halves. That is the point you were given, so the curve really does pass through it. The guideline gives full marks for the answer alone here, but a wrong answer alone gets nothing, and the check is what tells you which one you have. Range is the y values, and for a hyperbola it is everything except the horizontal asymptote. 3 over something is never 0, no matter how big that something gets. So 3 over x plus 2 minus 1 is never exactly minus 1. It gets as close as you like from above and from below and never arrives. So y is any real number except minus 1. And write both halves. The guideline says both conditions must be stated, so a not equal to minus 1 on its own is not the range, because it never said which numbers y is allowed to be. A hyperbola is symmetrical about 2 lines, not 1, and both of them pass through its center, the point where the asymptotes cross. Here that center is minus 2, minus 1. The 2 lines always have gradients 1 and minus 1, because the curve sits at 45 degrees to its own asymptotes. The question says m is less than 0, and m is the letter the paper used for the gradient of a straight line at the top, so it wants the falling one. M is minus 1. Now use point and gradient. Y minus y1 equals m, bracket, x minus x1. y1 is minus 1 and x1 is minus 2, and both go in inside their own brackets because both are negative. Y minus minus 1 is y plus 1. X minus minus 2 is x plus 2. So, y plus 1 equals minus 1 times x plus 2. Multiply out. Minus 1 times x plus 2 is minus x minus 2. So y plus 1 equals minus x minus 2. And taking the 1 across gives a y equals minus x minus 3. The question asked for the form y equals, so stop exactly there. And if you want to know it is right, rather than hope so, the point 1, 0 sits on the curve, and reflecting it in this line gives minus 3, minus 4, which also sits on the curve. A line of symmetry has to send the curve back onto itself, and this one does. A change inside the bracket moves the graph sideways, and it moves it the opposite way to the sign, plus 4.5, inside means 4.5 to the left. That catches people every year, so here is why. To get the same output as before, x now has to be 4.5 smaller, so every feature slides 4.5 to the left. The vertical asymptote was at -2, so it goes to -2 minus 4.5. -2 minus 4.5 is -6.5. And the horizontal asymptote does not move because nothing was added on the outside. The graph slid sideways, not up. So the asymptotes are x equals -6.5 and y equals -1, unchanged. 2 marks, 1 for each, and the guideline gives them for the answers alone.
9 marks, and 6 of them are write-down marks. 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, and 4.5 are worth 6 between them, and not one of those needs a line of algebra. They need you to read the sketch correctly, and then say the right kind of thing. Only 4.4, worth 3, is actual work. So the whole of this question is about precision rather than difficulty. Give p as a number and not an asymptote. Give both halves of the range. Move the graph left when the sign says plus. Every mark lost here is lost to a habit, not to the mathematics, which is the good news. Habits are fixable in an afternoon.